Good morning, everyone. So 2 days ago I pruned my fig tree, so now I have a bunch of cuttings left over. So what I'm going to do is, let me go back in here. Here we go. So I got a couple cuttings. I could root them, or put them in media or soil, whatever you want to call them, dirt, so they grow roots. But if you remember when I did the Dragon Ball, the bonsai over the Dragon Ball, I ended up having to cut some of the roots, and here we go. So I do have some roots here that I cut. Here's one, here's the other one, and they're still alive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the root to one of these cuttings. Hopefully that speeds up the process, and if it all works out, I will make an update on it. If not, then the plant died. So here we go. Let me put that there. Okay, that should work. So the first cutting that I'm going to work with is this one right here. So now, even though you can't really tell, there's dirt, I don't want to say germs, but there's a bunch of, I guess, mold and other stuff that, is on the surface, even though you can't see it. So first things first, I am going to wash it. I have a toothbrush. That should help me out. So I've seen videos where some people use a little bit of dish soap just to try and help it out a bit. But everyone has their own methods, options, choices, preferences, whatever you want to call it, to work with it. So I'm just scrubbing it really quick. Nothing big. Alright, that should do it. So this is ready. The next thing that I gotta work with is the roots. So I'm not too worried about this part so as much as this up here. So I'm going to wash this real quick. Simply because when I make the cut and try and, I don't want to say graft them together, but pretty much attach them together, I don't want any dirt to go inside of the wound or the cut, because then, it can die. Alright, so all I'm going to be using is this grafting knife or blade, whatever you want to call it. I haven't cleaned it, but the preferred method is like some sort of rubbing alcohol. Just grab it, put it in there. It should be okay. And the main reason why they'll use alcohol when cleaning it is because when you cut up in one tree and then use the same blade or knife to cut up another tree, if there's any diseases, you could possibly transfer it from one to another. So here we go. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? So what I like to do is use my thumb to sort of guide it, since I'm cutting towards me. If I was cutting away, like if I was doing a regular graft, I can just, no big deal. So let's see how it works out. Because watch, if I was just doing this and pushing towards me, there is a chance that the knife can slip and, you know, I'll end up slicing my hand up. So that's why I like to use my thumb, and then just a slight little pressure of, you know, moving this back and forth will cut into it. All right, that looks good enough. All right, put that down. Time for this one right here. So I'm trying to get like a V shape on it. So all the videos I've seen, they say try and get it as straight as possible. But over here, all I'm gonna do is scrape it up a bit just to expose some of that cadmium layer. Oh man, oh well. That should work. All right, so this can be a bit tough. So all I'm going to do is I'm gonna use my grafting knife to open it up a bit. All right, that didn't, there we go. So there is somewhat of a snug fit. That should work. So I guess I didn't really have to peel this part in. I thought it would have gone all the way inside, but that should be it. As long as the part, might be kind of hard to see. Let me rotate it. That little green part right here, it's called, I guess, a cadmium layer. That's where like all the nutrients flow back from the tree onto the roots, and the roots, I guess, should be, you know, sending nutrients going up, something like that. But as long as you got the outside of this and, you know, part of the roots stuck together, it should work. So this is just about done. Now, one thing I like to use is, you know, a rubber band. And the only thing I'm going to use it for is to sort of secure this area together. You do have to make sure you don't tighten it or, you know, add too much pressure, because it can, I guess you could say, choke the graft or the wound that you just made. And if no nutrients or there's no circulation going back and forth, it can die. So let's see. One last little loop. And that should work. And that should be it. Now, I do have the option of adding some grafting tape to it. All it is, it's wax. It rips off really easy, but it'll help keep this hydrated. But I'm probably not going to use it because it may get moldy. So I'm just going to bury this in sphagnum moss or some sort of wet media, or that, not wet, but just that has enough enough moisture in it that won't prevent this from getting dehydrated. And that should be it. So hopefully it takes. I mean, it should, but you never know. All right, so this is what I'm using. So I got sphagnum moss. It's nice and moist or wet, whatever you want to call it. All I'm going to do is, you know, throw some of it on top, just to keep the roots nice and damp, or wet, whatever you want to call it. And this is just a little tote. I'll seal it up, close it, put it somewhere where the light hits it, but not direct sunlight, because then it will cook. And it should work like a little greenhouse. And then I can just easily check up on it, you know, take off the top or the lid, you know, see how things are going. And that should be it. Thanks, everyone.